What can we say? To answer the question, yes, his computer is hand wound. We have just got the crank handle out and we've managed to get it beast up again. A bit of overclocking, never hurt any. It's an old trusty machine though. It's a ThinkPad.
Yeah, the CPU is going up, and that's why I actually have a new computer there, but that computer doesn't like the black magic thing like we saw last time, and there was a big exercise.
It was. But we're here, and thank you for all being patient and waiting for us. So we've got a lot to talk about today.
Is the sound good, by the way?
Yes. Someone give us a sound check. Can you hear us? Yeah. And the answer is you can understand my Scottish accent, but is the volume okay? So anyone let us know if the volume's okay before we get moving. That would be fantastic. I am keeping an eye on, here we go, tick, 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 Andy's computer, yes. Yep, it's all working now. I think we're all good. So Andy, let's go to the first slide.
Screen face.
There we go. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a little end of year roundup. 2024 has been a pretty significant year, Andy. We've done a lot. We promised a lot, and we're going to over-deliver.
Did we? Really?
Apparently. We shouldn't, actually, unlike this live, we are going to over-deliver. And of course, we've got a couple of raffle draws. Well, we've got 4 in total. We've got the Omnium draw.
Yeah.
How many colours, Andy? Three. We've got the Frost Fire, which is the silver with the red. We've got the Pink Perfection, obviously the pink one, and we've got the Midnight Blue, which is the blue. These are 3 prototypes, so they will all have the stainless steel case on there, and there'll be 1 lucky winner in each category. We will, before we get there though, let you know how many people entered, how many people got the correct answer and or did everything you had to do, and we'll let you know what your chances are, which, to be honest, are a lot better than winning a lottery. Let me put it like that.
I think
yes,
so.
Much better.
Much better than going into the casino.
Definitely. Unless it's a your computer, which will probably win.
Yeah.
But outside that, we've also got the draw for the golden ticket. So anybody who has purchased a golden cased watch or, including the platinum on the new Omnium, will be included in that draw. But before we get there, we're going to have a little roundup of everything that we either announced and or delivered during 2024. Because, as we say, we've been a few big years.
23 already was pretty busy, and 24 was
even busier.
Equally busy because we have been moving 2 times.
We've been moving.
We have been moving 2 facilities. We only wanted to move 1.
Multiple watches, and we made some big promises on deliveries, which, touching wood, it's all going to plan so far. So let's start off.
Into the next slide.
Yeah, now this is not in any particular order, really, because I was trying to think of the number of things that we could talk about. So obviously there was a few big milestones. We were 15 years old. That was a pretty big one, in fact. We were 15 as a business. How old were you?
50.
How old was I? 50.
Same.
Yeah.
5 is a good number.
It's a good number. So between the 2 of us and HORAGE, we're 115 years old.
If we make it that far,
well, we're doing okay. I'll never make it to 115. But yeah, so we had a bit of a campaign called the 15-15-15 campaign. There was lots of things we did. We had some forum articles talking about the history of the brand. If you haven't read them, I do suggest you go and read them. It's not a sales pitch. It's really just a bit of history telling us what we did, what we've been.
And some people might say 15 years, do you really need, and then, you know, people come to us and say, I never heard about you. And you don't be, and especially people who are into the business sometimes say, I never heard about you. Then don't worry, that's normal, I would say. We underestimate what it takes to build a brand. And it takes, in my opinion, nothing below 10 years. Don't even start about thinking of that to be a company which is recognized out there. And so 15 years now we can see the first time that we actually get recognized on a broader scale internationally.
Even in Switzerland as well.
Yeah, in Switzerland we have not been very much recognized because we also didn't publish in German or in French or Italian, because small companies can't do all things at the same time. And now, especially with our MicroReg things, which has been heavily published and publicized in Switzerland, so people, and also in the German-speaking market, we get much more
engagement, for sure. So yes, we also gave away, I think it was 15 days of watch giveaways.
Yeah.
So we had some of the very early Omniums, in fact, so early they predated our in-house movements, and we had found a little stash of them while we were moving, and we thought, what do we do with these? So we thought we will give those away as little gifts for our 15th birthday. And as I say, if you've not read the forum, please do, just go onto the website, into community, and you'll find the link to the forum, and there's a whole section called 15 15 15. You can read all about us there. So then moving on, we also announced the Golden Ticket campaign. Now, this was something that covered a few different areas. We wanted to really just, I guess, open up the conversation about the use of precious metals, gold, yellow gold, white gold, and of course things like platinum in the watch industry. We've always tried to bring good value. Unfortunately, gold is expensive, so nowadays, there's no such thing as a cheap gold watch.
Extremely expensive.
But we wanted to bring as fair a price and just to kind of open up how it really works and where the cost in gold comes from. Even ourselves, bringing the best value to things like gold buckles and clasps, they're still horribly expensive. They're just not quite as horribly expensive as they could be. So we wanted to open up about that. And of course, we have always offered gold-cased watches, certainly since the very early watches were all precious metal. Then Tourbillon 1 had a gold case option. Tourbillon 2, of course, has had the gold, yellow gold and white gold options. And with the latest release this year, the Omnium, we were originally yellow and white gold, but at the last minute, Sue decided she wanted to do platinum.
And we also did it in a way, I think, that it's for both sides fair and risk management wise okay also for us, because we can't just make gold cases in the blue, nobody knows how to do that, and the price can go up and down, and so we are pretty much transparent on what you pay and what we need to add as a margin, as a processing fee, and especially this watch, the Omnium, I would say, is the watch for gold.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, it's still a just over 10,000 Swiss franc watch, but for an 18 karat solid, well, say solid gold, 18 karat gold, because 18 karat is not solid gold, but it's 18 karat gold, which is the highest grade of gold typically used in watch cases, with all of the other stuff.
And you can't do less because it's too soft.
It's too, yeah, absolutely. 24 karat gold, pure gold, is too soft for watch cases. Yeah, it's not a great thing to use. So we think we offer great value there. And essentially, we also said anyone that buys or invests in a gold watch from us, because, there's a lot of talk of investment in watches. A gold watch is maybe as near as a true investment as you might get, because there is an intrinsic value to that metal that you have. You can always, in the dire days, trade it to save your life in the middle of the desert. It's a ticket home.
It's a ticket home. Please give me a flight ticket. I give you my watch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's home and safe.
Yeah.
But anyone that purchased one, they get an entry into the golden ticket, and what that will involve is a prize. And the prize, whoever wins, will be brought over to Beale, and we'll show them round everything we do. We'll take them for food, because we do like food. Probably some drinks as well, if that's your thing. And maybe see a bit more of the wider watch kind of industry in and around Beale. That will be at some point.
I think also interesting during this golden ticket campaign, and where we started to explain more in detail what it is about, was our artist, graphic illustrator Rebecca, who actually made all these nice artworks, and in the midst of doing so, we encouraged her to add animation to the whole exercise.
We did.
Because we're talking a lot about artificial intelligence. And then since this time, actually, she started to animate.
She has done
this beautiful,
crazy collage
artwork, and I hope we will do more of that. I love it.
It's really
so
cool.
Nice.
And we've done some, actually, the images that you probably, many of you watching this will have seen for the Omnium competition. Again, that was Rebecca. She is back living in Taiwan now, educated in the UK at art school, but went back to Taiwan, and she does a lot of our... If you ever see slightly crazy artwork, probably Rebecca. So that's what the golden ticket was. Then we move on. Obviously, the Autark Tourbillon, that had been announced at the tail end, so quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2023. And we had promised that we would deliver both a new caliber and these new watches by Q1, Q2 2025. So around 3 to 6 months from now. But early on this year, we began to see some signs that maybe our esteemed colleagues in engineering and watchmaking thought they might get ahead of the curve. In fact, if I remember,
did you put in
Jonas,
that pictures into a folder?
there is some pictures in the folder. You can go digging if you wish.
You keep talking.
Yeah. But on this, Jonas one Saturday decided to come in and put together a very rough prototype. So some early machined parts and some early kind of gear cut parts. And he was amazed that it ran as soon as he put it together. And not just running, it ran pretty accurately as well. And that was the first signs that we began to think, I think we might be able to get ahead of the curve here. Sue, of course, did her magic when it came to things like the case and the bracelet and the clasp, and she was on charge of it. In fact, you'll see an image coming up now. We have, as Andy is spoiling the party, started to ship them. The very first batch of these left us this very day. I have paper cuts all over my hands from packaging cardboard boxes, along with Celine, and in fact some of the product managers and some of the watchmakers were helping us get these packaged up. I think roughly 60 pieces have gone out the door today. We are very much hoping to get the balance of them out of the door either tomorrow or on Monday the 23rd. So there should, touch wood, be plenty of you actually getting these before Christmas. So as you can see, that was a trolley that greeted the FedEx guy as he came today, expecting to pick 1 or 2 parcels up. Yeah. And he had to drag that big trolley down to his wagon to get them out. So that was another big milestone for us, certainly in 2024.
Do you want to see live?
Well, we can have a quick look live. We've got Andy's, oh, it does work. So here is some running examples. These are the last generation prototypes. So they're still missing a couple of little bits of finishing, but these were the ones that we knew. When we had these, we thought, as long as the machines don't go on holiday early, like Andy's computer, or as long as we don't have any big disasters along the way with finishing, etc., we thought we're going to be there. And indeed we are. So this is the blue dial and the black dial, and Andy has just decided to put on the salmon dial without the power reserve. There we go. It's focusing up nicely now. Yeah. So there we are. And yes, they are all going out. There's only, I think, going to be a small handful of people who ordered much later on that might have to wait till January to see their watches. But outside that, we are really pleased that we've managed to get these in ahead of curve. So sounds like Santa might be being good to certain people. So that's the Autark.
It was an exercise, yeah.
It was. So we could maybe flick to the next slide, Andy, if you go back to that one. Andy, and well, mentioned earlier, the other big thing was, whilst all this was happening, we decided to move. Now that started around the back end of 23 again. We got our new space.
Actually in the wrong
screen. There we go. Yeah. We moved. We got the space back into 23, but we only really actually actively moved in.
When I was smoking a cigarette with the other guy who was here before.
Correct.
Joel, actually.
There we go.
So sometimes smoking a cigarette makes sense.
Not so often, but this one made sense. This one made sense.
I'm kind of an occasional
dabbler. Yeah. You are, yes. But we got into our new space and we officially moved in January with, I think, 95% of the things there. Took us a few weeks to bed in, just some processes.
Everything works again. And then, of course, you have some arguing going on. Everybody has an opinion on how things should be set up. And everybody wants to give his best opinion and improve of what we have done before. And that, needless to say, leads to some discussion and not always to the
discussion. Yes.
But it's an amazing place. It is the thing which was missing for us, I think. It's the people who have come here and who have enjoyed staying here. Really were fascinated. They saw what we have done, where we have been before in the same building, and now that is actually makes a real experience coming to this place and spending some more time. So everybody is welcome who is around here.
As long as you give us at least a day's notice so we know and we can make sure we're here, then just drop us a WhatsApp if you know our numbers. You can get the number easily if you know where to look. Also, you can, of course, drop us an email, lostintime@horage.com, and you're more than welcome to come. In fact, we We'll get guests tomorrow. We had guests today and yesterday
and
and the day before, indeed. So we've always got someone coming in, having a look, and you're more than welcome to join us. And not only that, slightly less expected, we also moved into a new space for our machinery. We found a perfect little space.
In the
narrow
state
and
road, down the railroad.
mere, what is it, about 1 kilometre away?
Yeah,
if
1
that.
kilometer down the road, close to the Rolex factory area.
So Jörg, our oil guy, he comes in every morning, checks what needs to be done. He heads off there. He gets
That was a little bit unexpected to move that. So,
but it was a cool space.
Yeah, it's a nice
Perfect
space.
for us.
It's doing what it should do, and I always say it's my test factory.
It's
the thing
it's like a laboratory.
We want to figure out how you actually run manufacturing when it comes to the effective step of milling.
Absolutely. So that was one of our other big milestones, of course. Then we added a new model into the Tourbillon 2 family. We had launched the Tourbillon 2 as a kind of follow-up to that famous Tourbillon 1, the watch that probably put us on the map more than anything. And we had already had the blue dial with the kind of laser engraving, or the kind of femto laser engraving on the dial. We had that very classic Grand Fou enamel dial, both with power reserve. And we decided to do a limited run of the Meteorite. So 25 pieces in Meteorite. We deleted out the power reserve, mainly because we wanted to have a cleaner look and just let that kind of Meteorite dial sing to its full effect. I think there's maybe 2 pieces left. Pretty much all of these now are gone. In fact, 3. There's 3 pieces left. So nearly all of those have gone, and they have also, within the last 3 to 5 weeks, all been delivered to their new homes as well. So there was a lot of happy people around the end of November, start of December, receiving those watches. So that was another episode. Then we also introduced the third iteration of the Super Seed, so the third model
becoming
within
a GMT company.
We are, and we kind of decided, well, lots of folk love to argue about whether the office GMT or the traveller GMT is the true GMT, the real GMT, what's the best option. So we thought, you know what, let's do one of each, and then we can't have any arguments. All the children can be happy.
Yes, and nobody has the true one.
Exactly, the true one is the one that you think is true.
That, it depends on if you travel a lot or not, or if you have friends around the world and you want to know, at least in one other part of the world, what time it is, so you don't wake up the people when calling at the wrong time.
Absolutely.
And that's why you need both. And I think there is no true or not true GMT thing. It's a traveler and
it's your own truth.
Yeah,
that's what we'll go with. But of course, there was the original GMT.
You know the book, How True is Truth?
Yeah. Not very true. So we had the original GMT. Then, of course, we brought out a couple of years after that the cleanest, simplest of the models, that being the Date, which was in both the C-Note blue and the black dial. And this is one we've been working on, which is the dual time. So you have that second time zone in a 24-hour disc fashion, just showing there at the 9 o'clock. The dial in this uses a kind of really cool pattern, really taking some idea from selvage denim, so that kind of really fine
I learned that from you.
You did?
I had no damn clue.
Well, every day's a school day. And of course, that's where the little red highlights come in, because they've got that kind of little nod back to the red stitching that you'll find on selvage denim. This one, again, we introduced only around the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And these have again all been delivered to their new homes as well. And in fact, we now have stock of both, all 3 Super Seed GMTs, Super Seed Dates, and Super Seed dual times.
That was also, I think, primarily our target after moving, to make sure that we get into the capability of carrying stock, that people do not need to wait forever until they can buy a watch from us, which they like. And that was a big improvement, I think.
And we understand, some of our clients are happy to come in early and join along with the process and see what happens, and they're happy to wait. But quite rightly, some people think, if I see it and I want it, I want it now. And that's absolutely fine. But now we're able to certainly, I think actually by January, pretty much every single current model in the range should be available within a week's period, which is hopefully a super nice place to be.
Please spread the word.
Tell everybody. Anyone that's ever thought, I like the idea of HORAGE, but I don't want to wait, maybe tell them you no longer need to wait. Now is your chance. So then, possibly the biggest, the bit
thing.
that we knew was big, but we weren't sure if it was going to be that big, and that was the introduction or the announcement of MicroReg. Both a watch, but the watch was, I guess, secondary to the technology. The main announcement was about the technology itself, which, we are dubbing the third revolution in mechanical watchmaking. A big claim, for sure. Tall out there, yeah. But I think it's fair that, even with the press coverage we've got, of whom there's been some pretty serious press covered it.
Yeah.
Nobody's pushed back on that to say you guys are overhyping this.
It was this kind of typical thing which you start to, our friends from Mini Swiss who developed this actuator technology where I got involved into, and then after a while I got an understanding of the technology, and we had at the same time this project of trying to regulate watches from outside because we know that's an issue. We are making movements. If we know something, then we know the cost of regulating movements very well, and we know very well what happens after they have been regulated and shipped, not only to our watches but to every mechanical watch. So we had this desire to solve a problem which has been there forever since the Swiss mechanical movement exists, and there has been attempts and it never really worked. But this combination of our movement stack, of our capability of making hairsprings and escapement technologies, and a technology which is not electronic, it is actually based on piezoelectric resonance mechanisms, brought this eureka, or how do you call this?
A eureka moment.
Eureka moment. And it was like this, and that, okay, that's the thing which we need to do. We need to hide this little thing in our movement in order to remote control the adjustment of the length of the spring.
And no power sources, no batteries,
no electronics.
Nothing.
There was a big argument in some of the forums because people in the beginning didn't really understand what it is.
The concept of
which is
resonance.
Totally okay, but at the end of the day, this is a Swiss mechanical watch. It doesn't get more Swiss than that.
Yeah. And we know, because there's plenty of serious individuals in the mechanical world who are nodding their heads and saying, this is absolutely
and people are calling now, which never called before.
No, just to find out more.
That is a sign which, and we get feedback from all over the world, both from the industry and from the consumer side, and people have committed into this, and that is the number one sign that we are up to something, I would say, very big. I think we are up to something very big, nothing short than leadership in super chronometry. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And the question is, will we pull it off? That depends on the community supporting us. As of now, I can safely say, this is something which is worth to invest heavily and build a market-leading position if we manage to do that. Because these early orders are the best proof that there is a market. Investors who are interested talk to us. We know that we can't pull that off completely alone. Everybody who is in the game knows that. And the only thing they wanted to know is there a market? They said, the only way is to find out is ask the market.
Yeah, exactly.
And luckily our fan base supported that, and that is actually our...
And let's not kid anyone on. When we launched this, we had proof of concept and we had a proof of application, but it was nothing more than that. And we knew it worked. We knew the technology was provable, but we knew there was a huge amount of work ahead of us to bring a product to market. We were upfront. We said it will be 2026, but a few people have seen this, and maybe Andy can get his camera working again. Here we go. Let's see. Camera time.
Move away the one thing, move in the other thing. And now you see the color, huh?
And it exists. So there we go. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying this is a very, very early engineering sample. Don't think this is anything like the finished product, but color-wise, that's actually pretty solidly next to it. The case is a very early sample. You'll notice the writing on the disc at the bottom. Yes, it's written by hand, so don't be getting exercised about it not being very neat.
Silvan's handwriting.
It's his handwriting with a white marker pen, correct. But we will have, actually, generation 2 of the engineering samples, I think, should be live, hopefully, within the next couple of months. So probably in the January, February area, we might begin to see the next one. We've already got various revisions on the case, on the display window at the bottom, and a couple of other bits. The crown has been tweaked.
Colour is crazy.
Case back, but the colour is so cool. This is our peacock, we call it, because it's showing itself off to the world, very much like a peacock does. And of course, here is the
Currently,
case
we are
back.
trying to figure out if everything works, all the structural parts, before we actually finally define the little interface.
Yeah, even things like on this case back here, the cutouts for the screws, they've all been changed already as well. This is maybe, we say 60 to 70% towards a product, but we wanted to get something together to show people, and it always amazes me. There's the people who will jump on early.
Yeah.
There's then the ones that say, you just need to show me a little something. And as soon as we started to
and
show
it's
this,
extremely slim, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about a very variable product, which is probably, hopefully, an icon to become in
something
the future.
critical. And remember, this is a concept product. Is it the most practical time-telling watch in the world? No, but it's not designed to be. It's designed to show off the technology. Remember, this is a technology in the future that could be in any watch. You might not even know it's ever there in that watch as well. But we wanted to make this first kind of concept piece, something that was a little bit of a standout, something a little bit special. And for the people that got on early, they're the ones in the future that could say, I was one of the first people to get into this.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe one day, this starts to push itself into watches all through the industry. But again, only time will tell, and it is the support of people like you guys watching that ultimately are the ones that help to let other people in the industry think maybe these guys are onto something big here.
I hope that we over-deliver again.
I think we might, but let's be very careful. Yeah.
That is some killer innovation exercise here.
Yeah.
But as I always say, I'm very confident, and even some of our most critical person in the company say, why don't we do that faster?
Yeah, exactly.
I never heard that before.
No.
from him.
No, that person usually is like, slow down.
Yeah, slow down. We get trouble. But everybody is so confident that this is going to work out very well, and perhaps we can speed that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's just asked a question, actually. He is from Mallorca, and he's asking, what testing do you usually do with each watch, such as water resistance, shock resistance, how long does it take, etc.? Well, without getting too deep into it, because that's probably a whole different live. We could talk about that in a live for many, many hours. But broadly speaking, every single component of every movement that we bring in, that we manufacture, that we produce here in Biel is tested.
Yeah.
Everything's measured, and it's not a sample, every single part. And of course, that does relate to the finished product. Every time the watches are opened and they're closed again, they're put through the water pressure tester for water resistance. All of these things are tested. Of course, all of our movements, etc., are tested for all of the industry standards, like shock resistance. We're around 5,000 Gs. To be honest, if your watch survives 5,000 Gs, you probably won't have. So you're not going to have to worry too much on that front. But again,
the tourbillons actually have been run through Ironman distance.
Yeah, there's the lab testing. There's your
cats
cost
and
test.
dogs, raining cats and dogs, salt water,
Everything.
time trial bar, 100. How many kilometers do you have on a Ironman?
Too many.
Lot.
Yeah,
So
way too many.
And it's surprised because we make watches. That's what I always say. We are doing performance watchmaking. So watches need to have a certain performance in runtime, in precision, but also durability.
Yeah.
At the same time, they need to be also wearable. So there's always a very tight line to.
We need to move on. The boss is saying we have to hurry up. She wants to see the draw.
Good.
We're being threatened in the comments already.
Yeah, okay.
So we move on. So
Good,
that's that one. Next, we'll go back to next slide.
Next slide.
The kind of final one we just wanted to touch on is we went on a bit of a world tour. So throughout the year, we've been in the US, we've been in San Francisco, Los Angeles, we've been in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington. We've been throughout Europe, not just Germany and London, but we went to a couple of big shows there. And then we did a bit in Asia at the back end of the year, in Hong Kong, in Taipei, and of course in Singapore. And that is merely a little bit of the start of things, because next year, so far, I think we've pretty much got something every month somewhere. So we're going to be busy. We'll hopefully get somewhere near you. We're going to be putting a bit of a diary up onto
Where we
the
are.
website, where we're going to be, when we're going to be, so maybe you can do some plans
And
and get
people
near
will
us.
be able to go more live with us because on our website there's a new function and future. Okay. Okay.
So anyway, at that we showed everyone obviously the watches that you guys are seeing here, Autark Tourbillons,
So,
etc.
now we need to make our
we need to go. So what's next? Let's just check we're on the next one. We are, here we go. So Omnium K2. This was our last release of the year and possibly one of the best received of all of them. This is a watch that's been within the range since the very earliest days of the brand. And this is the most refined and the most elegant version of the watch to date. 37mm by 7.95mm. 3 colorways. You have Midnight Blue, which is the really traditional classic one. You have the Perfection Pink or Pink Perfection, which is this fume effect, the fun one. And you have the Frostfire, this silvery white with the red numerals. Available in stainless steel, 904L stainless steel, or 18 karat yellow gold or platinum. But we will be giving away one of each colour in the 904L steel. These are all prototype watches. They're actually the most refined prototypes I think we've done to date as well. They're as pretty close to production as you will ever get in a prototype. So prototypes may be a bit of a stretch, but the case backs do have prototype on them. So you definitely have something quite funky there. We'll hopefully deliver these ones in the very early new year after we've done the raffle. We're going to do it in the following order, same order as we did on Instagram. The Frostfire first, then the pink, then the blue. And we'll give you a couple of numbers, if Andy can go to the next slide, before we get into draw proper. Here we go, 3 chances to win. You can have entered all 3, but you can only win 1 watch. So if you win it, the first draw, if you win the second again, you get pulled out and we will pull someone else. We will notify you on Instagram in the next 48 hours roughly. Please do check your DMs. Please also check that other bit of your DMs where it puts junk messages in case it ends up there. We will give you fair time to reply with your details, but if we don't hear from you for a couple of weeks, we will unfortunately probably have to move on and do another draw. Anyway, here's your chances. Round 1, Frostfire, 142 people entered. 29 didn't either get it correct or made some mistakes in the rules. So that means there's 113 people in with a chance. So 1 in 113, pretty good odds, I'd say. Pink Perfection, 126, 23 out, 103. Midnight Blue, 155, 24 out, 131. So let's go with how we're going to work.
I have this number generator from Google.
You do?
So I typed in Google numbers generator, as you can see here. Official thing. I guess they don't fake it just because it's us. We are not too important for that.
No.
You can set a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 113. This is 113 tickets, which we have for the Omnium Frostfire draw, because obviously 113 people answered in the right way.
Correct.
And then I would say draw a number. So I'm generating actually a number from Google, which I then type into our magic Marcus Lindstedt's Excel.
The wizard, the wizard, the wizoo of spreadsheets.
Black belt.
Yes, champion. And you can see here, it shows you there's 113 true tickets. That's 113 correct.
Okay, so I do that.
You'd hit the number. And the winner is number
88.
And if you're in Asia, that's a very lucky number, in fact. Yeah. So this is going to spit the name out of the winner. The Instagram name is Hannah Feels Pretty. So I think Hannah's going to feel pretty pleased with herself when she finds out that she has won a watch. So if you just can put in the name there, and then we can save that sheet off. So congratulations to Hannah Feels Pretty. That's her Instagram handle. I'm assuming it's a lady. It could be a gentleman, of course, as well.
Feels Pretty.
So that is the first winner, and that is the winner for the Frostfire version of the watch.
I'm saving that here.
You're saving that, and then you can
close that.
You can close that, please. Good. And then you go to the next sheet, which will be for Perfection Pink, please.
So let me just select that thing. Pink Perfection.
There we go. So
here
we go to the next one, and we're moving in. Now, with this one, 103 true answers. So we need to
was
update.
that more difficult?
This one, I think they were all quite difficult. This one you had to identify less buildings, but
Yeah.
maybe slightly harder to identify.
It was pretty serious exercise.
It was quite a tough one. Although I have to say there's some clever people out there who maybe used maybe AI services of a certain big search engine to maybe search their image as well. Clever people out there. There was no rule against that.
Yeah,
All you had to do was follow the basic rules. So there's 103 people in it, 1 to 103, and we will generate a number.
103.
Yep,
Generate
generate
a
a number. And we have number 26. So let's see who 26 is.
6.
And we have LBL.mine.
.mine. That's also
Well, it's
pretty.
also, that person can now say this watch is mine. They have a pink watch as well. So that's 2 of the winners. Again, please do keep your eye on your DMs because that's the only way we've got of contacting you, because quite often on Instagram, we don't even know your real name. Yes, we did validate for things like bots and all the other things. Of course,
don't get watches.
they don't get watches. No, they do not. And there were many other interesting entries, shall we say, that maybe were not so valid. But anyway, we did our due diligence to make sure it was only people that were definitely real people that got in. So we now move on to the final one,
Omnium Midnight
the Midnight Blue. This one had a little more entries. Maybe this was the last one because folks started to get the idea that this was coming. So 131 good entries in this as well. So we need to update that number to 131. There we go. Now, hit the magic button, Andy. 110. Now 110, we need to put that into the sheet. And we find out who we have there.
110.
Yeah. 10 and entry. And we have Emmanuel Clavijo. I'm going to guess that's probably more around his real name or the real name of the individual, but check out your DMs. We will be on to you as well. So congratulations to the 3 people that have won those watches. And I must say thank you everyone for taking part. Really it got into the spirit of it. I think there was lots of folk that enjoyed it. We enjoyed doing it. Slightly different way of doing something.
Now it's time for...
But that's the 3 winners there. So I win. Indeed. So that's what those 3 individuals will be doing as well. But as you know, even if you didn't win, we do these things quite frequently. Every time we do a watch launch, we try and do something interesting with the prototypes, and it usually involves people winning watches. So definitely keep an eye out. If you're not following us on Instagram, please do, because that's where you will find out about these things. We don't spam you to death. And also, if you're not signed up for our newsletter, if you go to the website, once a day, you'll get a little prompt to say, please join us and sign up to our newsletter. We don't spam you with any sales nonsense. We give you some interesting stuff in the forum, and we talk about the competitions that we do. So please feel free to join us in. And yes, as Sue points out, no, the staff are not allowed to take part in this. No staff, no affiliated suppliers, and or any of people that work closely with us day to day, because it's not fair.
Yeah.
So moving on, what's the next slide, Andy? I think we're now moving on to the golden ticket draw.
The holiday trip.
This is the little trip to Biel.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it the kind of fanciest place in Switzerland? Probably not, but it's the coolest place when it comes to the watches.
It's the real melting pot of Europe, I would say.
There's a lot of people here from all over the world.
126
ethnicities. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, there's a lot of people here.
From all over the world. Everybody's kind of a foreigner here, and that makes things easy. And we are in the center of the
watchmaking, technical
manufacturing industry, and by far the most important place when it comes to making mechanical movements. Yeah, here and 10 kilometers down.
And we have so many colleagues in different industries, different brands all around us as well. So you'll get to see a little bit of everyone as well. We'll even probably take you to the Swatch drive-through, which is a bit like a McDonald's for watches.
Pretty cool,
which is pretty cool, it has to be said. Yeah, got to give them that.
In the beginning, I was not sure, does this really make sense? But it makes sense.
It makes sense.
And I still remember the time when there was this Moon Swatch lounge. Yep. They were lining up. I didn't even know that so many people live in Biel.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed. So yeah,
it's so much fun to see that.
Absolutely. So it's a cool town. So the golden ticket draw, as we mentioned earlier, you have to have purchased any watch that we produce from the start in yellow gold, white gold, or including platinum now.
During 24.
Well, during 2024, but to be fair, this is the first ever time we've done this. So what we said was we did do precious metal cases on Tourbillon 1. And Sue thought it was only fair to offer them an entry as well because they never ever got to take part in it. So for this year, anyone that bought Tourbillon 2, Omnium, or Tourbillon 1, precious metal case gets to take part. That is up until, I think it was the 17th was the close off date. So from the 17th of this month, December, any watches bought from 18th of December forward go into next year's draw. So therefore,
we will do that every year.
We will. The plan is to do this every year.
So and this means buy more precious metal watches.
I mean, yes, if you can afford it.
Because it comes with a trip.
It comes, well, potentially comes with a nice trip. But yes, and of course, only if you can afford it, and only if it's sensible for you. But yes, you can definitely do that as well. So we've got, that's who is entered into it. So let's move along.
So what do they get actually?
So what do they get? So, well, I mean, it's kind of to be decided between us. So they're going to get a trip over to Beale. They'll come over. It'll be probably 2 to 3 days. We will have an amount that you can put towards your flight, which is generous. It will get you from pretty much anywhere in the world to get here. If you want to fly super fancy, maybe that's on you. We can't pay first class. Well, we can, but everyone's watches get much more expensive and nobody wants that. But you come here, we will take you obviously all around the kind of atelier, all around our engineering. You can hang about, you can talk to the watchmakers. We might even set up a few little challenges, see how good you are at some tasks. I'm terrible. Andi, not much better.
Won't be short on food.
There will definitely be no shortage of food. And then, of course, we will take you on a bit of a tour. You can go and see lots of the other brothers and sisters in and around us as well. In fact, there's a couple of other brands we're pretty close to. I'm sure we'll let them in to have a look around as well. So it should be a really fun, packed event if you're into watches. So that's to come up. It will be by agreement when it can work for both whoever wins and ourselves at some point during next year. So no fixed dates, we'll work it out between ourselves, whoever happens to win. So let's go over here. We have...
Same procedure as every year.
Correct.
Where is the other window here?
And you need the randomizer. So there we go.
We are having 28 entries, correct? Any question here?
There we go. So 28. Nope, I think that's us. We're good. So let's have a look, and if we can hit enter, see what happens.
At Fianma, I was reading Finma, financial. What?
So let's pull this draw and we'll check the comments.
I need to do that now. Okay, 1 to 28.
12.
12.
Let's see who 12 is. And this one should give us a name.
Kevin Cho
is the winner. So we will be contacting Kevin in the next few days as well and letting him know that he is a winner of the prize. And we take that from there.
I need to write that in here.
You need to put that in there, yeah. Oh, we need to check. We might have a slight stipulation. The winner of the blue looks like he may have tagged himself for the entry, which may invalidate his entry. So we will do some judgment. We'll get to the VAR on it. So
there's some
VAR is currently on the task. So just let me check this, because if we have it, we can redraw. Fair is fair. So let's have a quick look.
That was tagged himself.
Yep, so we can check that. If you can save that, and then if you open the blue one and we get the winners or who was drawn out, and I will validate it.
That was Midnight Blue, yeah?
Midnight Blue, correct. Let me just...
Manuel Clavijo.
Let me just check. So Midnight Blue competition is this one, and the winner was Manuel. So let me check. We always want to be fair where we can. Plus. Apologies. Andy, you can talk and show some watches whilst I check
just
through
observing.
many
I can
watches.
show some watches
We
here.
are validating.
In between, let's do that.
And there we go.
So Black Magic Face. That is one of these watches here.
Checking. Still, computer is still checking.
Very nice watch, by the way.
I think we have. We do. We have someone we have to take out, unfortunately, because they have incorrectly tagged themselves. So that's okay.
It's getting exciting here.
It's getting exciting. It's all back on.
Okay.
So let's
So
just quickly.
just tell me that I understand.
So he tagged himself. He should have tagged someone else, and he's not tagged. So that's okay.
That
So if
does
you
make a lot of
can, if you
sense.
can open the blue sheet again off the screen,
I'm
we will
here, blue
remove.
sheet. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a blue one. If we can delete
Yeah.
here,
Can
and
I
here.
take off that screen or?
No, we need to
So,
leave that here.
Sorry, Manuel, you did obviously make something wrong.
Apologies, and thank you so much, because we had, who did we have? We had Fiamma. He says, rest in peace, I now feel sorry for the guy. Computer says no, unfortunately, but hey,
Do we
you
need
know.
to take him out?
So we need to take him out. Yeah, so we, no,
Take it away because
yeah,
otherwise
and you need to
people
go to
see,
need to go to list.
GDPR is with us. you
Yeah,
know.
so we need to go to list here,
Yeah,
Andy,
yeah.
and we need to remove the individual. No, you just click here.
Yeah, I just need to
Yeah.
make that a little bit bigger.
This is called action in motion. It was
110 here.
110, so you highlight that and just delete the line. No, you need to delete the whole line
Okay.
because you've now made these.
Delete.
Good. Okay, save. Perfect. So there now is 130 people, which is correct. So we can now show this screen to everyone again. The joys of sense checking things.
Did you see that?
She has. Sue said we should check, and we have checked, and unfortunately he's wrong. So therefore,
Big Boss.
Big Boss says, actually, and our audience is holding us to check. So there we go.
130.
It says, now feels like playing detective if above is also true. There we go. So let's quickly.
130.
130.
One
Yep.
out of 130, so,
So-
I'm generating 37.
Times in thoughts.
In thoughts.
Let's-
Times in
Let's
thoughts.
quickly check that
Yeah.
they're correct, will we,
Yeah.
before we go further? Times in thoughts. So let's see, there's so many entries. Let's checking times in thoughts.
I
Times
need to
in
get back to
thoughts.
showing watches, I guess.
You can while I check.
Oh, anyhow, we had a big problem because I did not show the right screen,
Oh,
but it doesn't
Andy.
matter. So we didn't fake anything.
no.
So,
So times, I'm checking here.
That's-
Times in, times underscore
so
in.
just to
underscore
explain,
thoughts.
I did that while I had in my OBS backend the different screen activated, and we drew that times and thoughts number with the draw number 37, which was generated by the Google generator, and it spit out that account.
Times in thoughts. Looking, still hunting. Still hunting.
Yeah, the search functions are not always so amazing in social media,
Nope. Times.
so you do not really know.
Times in thoughts should be timekeeping marvel. So yep, it looks like he has tagged someone else correctly. So yes, everything is good. So we do have a valid winner, and hopefully, can we have our double check? Anyone wish to double check in the audience? But yes, so there we go. So perfect. Oh, the drama. Yes, it's all a drama, absolutely. But we definitely want to try to be as fair as we possibly can be. So we've done all of the draws. Congratulations against the winner. Commiserations to anyone who maybe was drawn and hadn't maybe done it correctly. And my apologies for any errors in us checking those. But hopefully this is all good.
That's why we
So-
have the internet.
We have the internet. It will always sense check you. It will
Yeah.
always bring you back down to earth. So that really, for where we are, is rounding us out pretty much almost on the hour,
Yeah.
albeit we did start a
We
few
started a
minutes
little bit late,
later.
but I think everybody
We will, of
knows
course, be
this.
contacting everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on this. It's been some year, and we've got some really, really great stuff to come for 2025. Some stuff we can't tell you about.
Yeah.
Andy, in fact, was wearing something that he was told to take off his wrist in case he stuck it under the camera. Still not a winner, but honestly, this live has been super entertaining. Well, you, the audience in Fiamma, you've helped to make it entertaining by holding us all to account. So yes,
Yeah.
there we go. And Greg says, what is bad enough is losing 3 times? Well, you know, maybe the 4th time. Unfortunately, Greg, there is no 4th draw. Apologies.
But I assume there will be more draws coming.
There will be more draws coming in the future. Of course there will. So thank you very much,
I
everyone.
think we are still the only ones who do that.
I don't think there's so many do it. Certainly not very often anyway.
And not in this way.
No, absolutely not.
But it's
Yeah.
also the fun of it.
It is. It's always good fun. It's always fun. And that's the joy of these. These are live.
Yeah.
They actually are live because we don't edit things. We try to keep it as straight and honest as we can. So I think all that really remains for us is to say is it's a mere, in fact, pretty much less than 1 week to go till Christmas. It was
Yeah.
a week yesterday.
What do you do for Christmas?
Eat, then drink,
Then,
then eat some more, then drink some more.
so you stay in Glasgow?
Yeah, I
With
will
your
be-
parents?
I'll be chilling out with the parents. Yes,
Mother?
that should be good. Yeah, the whole gang, the whole
Okay,
gang,
good,
the
good,
family.
good,
So
good.
and I
Yeah.
know that your family
Yeah, my
are
family
arriving
here,
en masse.
You know, they're doing the Swiss thing this
Yeah.
time. Usually we did the Tegernsee German thing, but this time it's Switzerland, and the snow is falling. So
Great. I hope my flight takes off.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. We hope you all, of course, have a lovely Christmas or vacation, holiday break, however you decide to celebrate. Of course, New Year comes up as well. And then into January, a lot of our friends in Asia and China will be celebrating their New Year as well.
Yeah.
I know that Celine is very much looking forward to her holiday at the end of January. So we have a couple of
And
months
the
really
food
of
exercise.
yeah, lots of holidays coming up for everyone. And as I say, you know, please look out for everyone. You know, there's always people out there that need a bit of support at this time of year. So please do keep your eye out for anyone like that. And
And we
spread
say
the love.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah. And we go to the last screen, I think, Andy.
Aha. Do we have a last
Oh,
screen?
we've got a happy Christmas
Oh,
screen,
we have
Andy.
a happy
Oh,
Christmas.
there we
This
go.
one.
That's all we have to say.
Uh-huh.
So we hope you all have
And
a
we are
happy
sending
Christmas.
out some nice Christmas digital cards to
We are.
some people.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for everybody. And we will probably see you, well, not probably, we will see you in January on another crazy live.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a good Christmas.